Welcome back to Mojo Grip. Mike here. We've checked out some pretty affordable aircraft on the channel. Airplanes that cost less than $40,000, $30,000, even $20,000. But what we haven't talked about are some of the problems you need to anticipate when you're buying any of these old used airplanes. And so in today's video, we're going to cover 5 common problems you need to look forward to if you're looking to buy an older aircraft. Number 1, missing logbooks. Whenever you're buying an older airplane, or any used airplane for that matter, you have to do your due diligence. What that means is you need to do a pre-inspection. This is not just inspection that you do on your own. It's best to actually hire a professional AP mechanic to go with you and check out all that could be wrong with that aircraft. And so during the inspection, the mechanic will let you know what parts or what fixes that airplane needs, and that way you can anticipate the problems that you need to fix in the future. This is one way to go about it. In some cases, you may be dealing with a broker, and generally you have aircraft brokers that have done their own inspection to the airplane before selling it to you. Either way, I would still highly recommend that you do your own pre-inspection with your own AP mechanic. And so during your inspection, you need to get the logbook for that aircraft. And a good, well-maintained airplane should have every single maintenance record. Every year that airplane has existed, you need to have the maintenance record. But in some cases, you may have missing logbook records. And although this may not be a deal breaker, but it's a big red flag. If you have a big chunk of the maintenance record missing, this could mean something big or could mean nothing at all. But still, the big question mark is there. And so before you pay for that aircraft, you need to ask yourself, what if the record that's missing was a safety issue? Did the airplane have a crash landing? Did the wings break off? You never know. But if you're purchasing an aircraft with missing logbooks, you need to proceed with extreme caution. Number 2, the next common problem to look forward to is rust and corrosion. Keep in mind, any airplane that you're buying that's at least 50-60 years old, you're more likely to deal with corrosion problems. When you think about the material that we used to build these airplanes in the first place, in the 40s, 50s, a lot of the single engine airplanes were built with metal. And metals love to get rusty. But even more delicate is that you may have some aircraft that spent hundreds of thousands of hours just parked outside. And some aircraft have actually never seen the inside of a hangar. So when you're dealing with some of these airplanes, you have to have in mind that you may have rust issues, you may have corrosion issues. That's why you have many ADs that's been issued for older airplanes. The Piper Cherokees, a lot of these 50-60-year-old aircraft have had airworthiness directive issued to fix one problem or another. A good way to think about airworthiness directives, these are legal enforceable rules which the FAA set if they see a problem with a specific airplane make and model. And so think of ADs as a callback. It's very similar to when an automaker calls back a specific make and model because of a problem. Well, in aviation, it's called airworthiness directives. And the major difference with airworthiness directives is that the costs to fix those problems will be coming out of your pocket. So when you're looking to buy an older aircraft, you need to keep in mind that an AD may be waiting for you somewhere down the line. Number 3, old avionics. Now, avionics can go one way or another. The truth of the matter is, if you're buying an aircraft just to fly under VFR rules, visual flight rules, you don't necessarily need to get complex with your avionics. You basically need your 6-pack and you should be good to go. You fly it by looking outside of the window. But if you're buying an older aircraft to, say, get your instrument rating or other ratings, you may need to get up to date with the old avionics in the airplane. Another case could be if the FAA issues a mandate for all aircraft. You may recall the ADS-B rule that was set in place earlier this year. This means that all aircraft operating in certain airways have to have ADS-B in and out. What that means for older aircraft owners is you need to pay for that equipment to be installed in your aircraft. Spending on avionics is also one of the most expensive endeavor outside of buying an airplane, and you've had in many cases where upgrading your avionics can cost just as much as you paid for the aircraft or more than you paid for the aircraft. So if you bought the airplane for $25,000 but your avionics cost $30,000-$40,000 to upgrade, that's something you need to think about down the line. And there's no such thing as cheap avionics except maybe you're operating in the experimental category. Number 4, part obsolescence. Scarcity of parts can be an issue. Here's one fact you need to understand about general aviation. Most aircraft manufacturers have either filed for bankruptcy at least once or completely gone out of business. What that means for your older airplane is getting parts can be very, very challenging. Except maybe you're flying a very popular model like the Cessna 172. If you're flying just about any other airplane model, getting the parts to fix your airplane can become challenging. So before you get excited about a particular make and model, make sure you do your research, make sure you talk to people, and see just how easy or hard it is to get the parts for that aircraft should in case you need to fix something somewhere down the line. Number 5, one of the most common issues you need to look forward to when you're shopping for an older aircraft is your engine overhaul. All power plants in an airplane has to go through this process. When you buy an airplane, whether used or new, the manufacturer sets a specific time in which that engine should run for before it's overhauled. Generally speaking, most Lycoming and Continental engines, these engines will fly for about 2,000 to 2,400 hours. But once you hit that mark, you need to cough out quite a few dollars to overhaul that engine. The average price to overhaul an engine is $20,000 to $30,000. So when you're shopping for an older used airplane, you need to pay attention to the amount of hours left on the engine. So say for example you have 500 hours left or 600 hours left. That's still a good bet, because 600 hours could mean that you can still fly the airplane for 6 years. But when you're buying an airplane with only 100 hours left or just at the mark of the overhaul time, get ready to cough out another $20,000 before the end of the year. So you may be getting a good deal at $25,000, but you may need to spend another $30,000 in a month or two. These are the things you need to think about whenever you're looking to buy an older aircraft. I hope you've gotten some good information from this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you subscribe with notification bell on. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, my name is Mike. A great way to support the channel is by becoming an MVP member. Go to mojogrip.net/MVP. I greatly appreciate all of the support, and I will catch you all on the next video.